into the housing appointment meeting for today, September 24th. Roll call, Mark Karen here.
Shirley Khan.
Ken Clinton here.
Okay, and Lori is excused.
Is she on Zoom though? Was she going to be on? Okay, she didn't make it.
Okay. Quick approval of the meeting minutes from 8/28/25. Accept the motion.
Accept the approve.
Make a motion.
I make a motion to accept
Second.
the minutes for August 28th.
Any discussion? Any edits or omissions? I didn't see any, so I will approve. I'm a yay.
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approve of the minutes from 9/3/2025.
Second.
Make motion.
Edits, discussion, anything out of the ordinary?
I make a
Second.
motion to approve the minutes for
All
September 3rd.
all in favor?
Aye.
No, none opposed. Okay, and if I might ask the board's indulgence to rearrange the agenda so that we could have, prior to the executive director's report, a status of our financials from, so that we, I know you have to leave?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be
and
great.
then West School.
Okay. All in favor for changing the agenda, to move agenda item number 7
Make a motion.
to after?
I second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Excellent.
All right.
Tough one. I didn't think
Thank you.
didn't think we were gonna be able to pull that vote out.
Good to see everybody again. And really, there's not much to talk about the financials. Warren Housing Authority is obviously in good shape from the 400-1 program. If you look at the August report, we're right around about a 60, and estimated reserve about 63%. Minimum reserve is obviously the 35%, so we're well above that. And the range that we like to see, or just at least say, is comfortable is anywhere from 50 to 70%. So
Mike,
we're
I'm
at
so sorry to interrupt. I just want to make sure they have the page up.
Yeah, I was just looking for it.
Sorry.
I got it.
It's towards the back, right before the
Again, because we're out
warrant.
of order, yeah.
It's
So what is that?
treasurer's report.
You have to go to the Big E, is that why we're?
Yeah, no, I got budgets to do.
Oh, Shirley picked yours up yesterday.
I'm sorry.
She doesn't have a
Give
drive.
us 1 second.
Yeah, no, you're
Shirley,
fine.
in your new packet.
And
You'll
the
have
other
to
one?
use,
Okay.
yeah.
Towards the end.
And I could just share it for everybody too.
It looks
Oh,
like this, and
nice.
and this is where we estimate the operating reserve at the end of each month.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, we anticipated 49% on our budget. We're at 63 right now.
Oh, that's not
Uh, Right, so we're still in good shape. We're in that target range that we would like to see, like I stated, between 50 and 70%, okay? And the reason, the only other thing to discuss financially, and I think this is a segue into bullet point 5D, which is West School. I think you guys have Janie prepare some options for West School. One thing I just want to say beforehand is, when Gary was doing the account back in like November of '23, he put together a nice little schedule and comments for whoever was taking over. And one of the comments that he mentioned on West School was, now under control of HUD, this is a deficit for years, right? And we're still in that deficit today. That's almost 2 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we discussed with Janie this week as one of the possible options, and from our side of things, it feels like it's the best scenario, but obviously it's your discretion, and it's just our opinion on seeing where everything's been happening for the last, let's say, 5 years at West School, is to try to maybe sell the property. I know that's probably not maybe the answer, the route the board would like to go, but from our perspective, one of the biggest things too is, Gary mentioned early off, he said, I informed the board years ago, so this was in '23, so it was prior to '23, right? Mm-hmm. Years ago, to have a rent reasonableness study and capital needs assessment done to increase the contract rents and to look for alternative financing for this project so the cash flow could be financed. As of now, it is being financed from the 400 advances, which is the other 400-1 state program. So from kind of our perspective, and one of the reasons why we kind of landed there is because, and Janie can talk about this a little bit more, is in order to get an executive director in here, they're gonna have to have expertise in this HUD program. And as you can see, since, let's say, when Gary says years ago in 23, let's say it's 21, there really hasn't been anybody that Warren Housing Authority could find at the part-time 26 hours in the salary rate that has this expertise to manage this property. Does that help or articulate at least that point
It does for me.
from there?
And I wouldn't, with all due respect, I don't know, the current sitting of the board, I'm not sure we assume anything on a position of the
Yeah.
retention and/or what's best use. I think, if I, and I'll speak for myself, and again, I ask my fellow board members to chime in too, their opinion is that what is a shame and what can't be tolerated, I think, from a citizen standpoint and a taxpayer standpoint, is that these units are not being utilized to families in need. And that's a shame from all stands. And if not being in our control allows that to happen, to change that dynamic, that's the end goal, is to make sure our citizens are served, not necessarily that a building or an asset's in our retention. We're not in the money-making business, otherwise we wouldn't be a public board. You know, it'd be sought after by others. And but I do appreciate, I'm not privy to that opinion, which is helpful for me. That it's not just something that comes about as, you know, lately, or even within the last couple sittings of the board, but it's actually almost a decade.
Yeah,
Sounds like.
that's why I asked Gary to dig up his kind of notes on here on kind of what he stated before he, you know, got terminated, and that's what he discovered, and I read it word for word.
Thanks.
And it was kind of, for me, historically not knowing the background, I was like, whoa, this, I thought, you know, maybe it's a couple, 3, 5 years, but it sounds like it's been a big ongoing issue, and obviously been in a deficit program for, could be a decade. One thing to note, before I forget, is just, Janie brought up a good point too on if, let's say if that's one of the options.
I'm
right?
sorry, you mentioned Gianni, who is that?
If that's one of the options, we have to also consider, and I think Janie can talk about it a little bit more, is that I think there's the new HUD contract in there. So in order to probably sell the building, either whoever buys the building might have to take over the HUD contract itself, so that might find it hard to find a buyer. But at the same time, I think there needs to be some consulting on whether or not, if that's the case, or is it not, before you even proceed that avenue. Anything else to note, Janie, on that side of things?
Yeah, so I do have permission from HUD to go ahead and lease up the property at the 2022 approved rates, which is giving us a $67,000 a year income, and our expenses are a little over that just for regular maintenance and administration. That's not taking into account, we have a roof leak, we have Unit 5 cannot be rented until the mini splits have been fixed. That's another $5,000. So there are several projects that need to get done. We need a capital assessment for sure, because there are certain things that the building does need to be. We can rent some of the units. It's not in pristine condition. It's probably not going to be, but to get it up and running, get it in livable condition. Some of the units are currently livable except for the one. But the building itself will require some immediate repairs, and then some short-term and long-term repairs that exceed over $100,000. That HUD does not provide an option that I think Gary also brought up, and I did a little bit of research, is we could look at grants, HUD grants, for these capital repairs. The process could take at least a year, at most 3 years. We'd need to put in money to start applying, because one of the things they're going to require is that capital needs assessment. And that's at the very least for a building that size, 1,500 at the very least. That's like just me estimating, I didn't get any quotes. But it will cost money to apply for those grants that we don't have, we're actually, how much are we in debt to the state for right now? I
Don't
thought
quote
it
me on
was
that,
like
I'm not sure. Yeah,
70
I'm
is
not
what I
sure,
thought
but it's,
we were at.
it's a number.
Yeah,
It's not like $3,000 or $5,000, so.
we're in the red,
Correct.
with HUD right now.
And one thing to note too with, let's say, the grant takes 2.5 years, right? And Janie brought up a kind of good point of we're stuck on the 22 rent, right? And if the budget's very thin to begin with, one of the big things that the board, right, and just everybody needs to be aware of is part of that revenue that goes to the budget is the tenant rents. So if you have tenants in there that aren't paying their rent, we have that very narrow margin, right, between revenue and expenses. If they're not paying their rent, then we're gonna be in a deficit again. So it's just something else to note, when we're talking about the budget and revenue and expenses for this program.
Could I ask a question?
Absolutely.
How interested is HUD in actually this building? You know, I mean, things have changed since that contract was signed, and it's been years, so maybe they just wanna, work something out with you. But-
Right, and that's what I said, if the board was leaning towards that approach or wanted to take the first step action in there, it would be probably to not only reach out to HUD, but also to get an expert in there relating to the HUD grants and the property and what you can and can't, or what Warren Housing Authority can and can't do with this property in the aspects of selling it.
Engaging in my conversations with them, the communication is not consistent. However, I get the impression that they'd rather not go through the process of going through another buyer. They're willing, they'd rather work with us because we already have it, instead of doing all the paperwork to start with a new owner. But they're spread very thin. It's difficult to get a response, it takes time, it's not very clear. We're working with them as best we can. But I have the impression that they don't want it back. They don't want they want us to manage it. They would rather let us do what we need to do.
Well, my other question is, why couldn't Warren Housing start their own LLC and buy it as a nonprofit and then run it as a nonprofit through our other holdings?
Well, the problem with that, where are you gonna get the finances, Ken, to improve all the property? And who's gonna subsidize if tenants don't pay their rent? Or who's gonna subsidize 80% of the rent?
Well, what I'm trying to say is, we bring it right into this whole, the 60 units here, and then you.
Well, it's already part of
Right, but
the
I'm
housing authority.
But I'm saying everything would just be paid through just getting rid of HUD.
I think I know what he's saying. So we're locked in with HUD until 2040 unless they choose otherwise.
Right.
You're asking if.
What date? 40?
2040, August 31st
Mhm.
of 2040 is the contract end date. You're asking if the state would take the property back.
Let's take it with us running it the same way we run this place, we run that place.
We can research what HUD and the state would be willing to do, however, it is, again, based on the conversations, the state wants nothing to do with that property.
And one other thing too is just the segue, right? I know we've talked about a lot already. The segue is obviously under bullet point 5E, right, which is the new ED search for 26, is from Warren Housing Authority. I think it would be more advantageous to have a part-time employee at the ED salary rate right? And I think Warren Housing Authority would most likely find someone that's qualified to run Winthrop Terrace, right? In the 667 and 705 programs very well, if that went, you guys went that avenue with the West School, right? Versus, hey, we're having a part-time position, here's the salary for that. Oh, by the way, you also have to manage this
Right.
federal program. And once again, it's not only, do they need to manage it, they need to manage it well.
Yeah.
And then they need the expertise to manage it.
Do
So it's just something else to consider there.
do you know what the property's worth?
The valuation, and I don't know what year this is from, building value, 491,400, land value, 43,600, other value, 5,200, so the total value, again, I don't know what year this is from, this is the most recent, public information I have available, we have available is 540,200.
So if you sold it, say you put it up for sale and sold it, would they still have to be under the HUD contract? Unless HUD decides, well, we don't really want this contract anymore, so you guys will just.
No,
without-
thanks, sure.
Right, and one of the things that we consider as the board as well is, hey, I don't know if, you know, once legal and some other consultants come into play is we finally get a hard number of what gets us back to zero from the financial side point and say, hey, listen, we'll sell it to you at a discount if you take over the HUD
Take it.
contract. We get out of the hole there and
Right.
excess proceeds maybe go into the program that we have to spend here
Mhm.
at Winthrop Terrace, but at the same time knowing that, hey, it helped somebody else that we know that they're gonna fill the units, right? And it also gets the obligation of running this program off of Warren Housing Authority.
Thanks, and I know your time is, you're under
Yeah,
some
no, we're fine,
constraint,
we're
but the
fine.
conversation allows us to at least get some options in mind so that we can present at a time in the future for a more formal dispensation of this.
Yeah, I think the last point I just wanna say, I think it's, the most challenging thing that, as the board and Warren Housing Authority will have is to say, hey, we obviously wanna keep the property if we can. The biggest thing that I see from a historical record, and Janie can agree to this, the rent research weren't done, which just tells me that it's very hard to find someone qualified to run that program here. Which then again is, if we do go that route, is it gonna be another 2-3 years and we're back in the same situation?
Right,
Right.
it's gonna keep going over. and
Right,
over and
right,
over.
even if you find somebody, let's say you find somebody with the expertise, how long are you gonna stay for?
Yeah,
Right, and then before you know it, oh, hey, 1 year's good, 2 years is good, 3 years down the road, all of a sudden we're back in this, having the same discussion.
And if I might, it is a distinct minority category of what we have in our oversight, but a large distraction. It's 8% of our portfolio, it's 50% of our consternation because it's a failing point, and it can't help but take away from our attention, time, and administration up here, and in that one residential property that we have too, so.
Right, I mean, it's just almost looking at like, if you have different departments in a private business, and
Yeah.
one department for the last 6 years has been failing, and you finally just say, how long are we gonna let the ship sink for, until we cut our ties from it, but, at the same time, hopefully that was at least insightful on kind of the historical stuff.
is.
Kind of some things to think about walking away from this meeting.
So I think we had some,
one more question, at
Go ahead,
full
sorry.
rental, what would it bring in a month?
As is right now,
No, if it was all rented,
under current
West School.
conditions.
West School.
under
Minus, I
current
guess, the one
conditions.
unit, because.
Yeah, the minus the,
Even with the unit fixed, say, you figured it out, you can fix it, what are you gonna, is it gonna take on any of that debt that you have with it?
Not to answer for Janie, but I think I recall, just in a summary, is that we would still be at a deficit,
Right.
but it would be reduced.
So what's
A
the point?
reduced deficit,
Correct.
So what's the
Correct.
point?
The other challenge, and I think Janie can help me out, elaborate a little bit more, is the challenge is on the contract rent. Since you're stuck on 2022, if you were actually at fair market value currently today, because we have some other housing authorities, like one bedrooms for HUD go around like, I think like $1,600 a month. A two bedroom's like $1,880.
And I think the contract rent, Janie, for us is like,
$725 for one bedroom,
Right.
It's
28
almost
for
half,
two.
so we're stuck there,
bedroom,
so
one
that's
bedroom.
another deciding factor, where it's like, if we actually were able to get the market rent, we'd actually probably be in better shape, we'd have a different discussion right now about,
Yeah.
hey, how to allocate funds to these needs assessments or the repairs to get the other unit up, but we're just not there.
Yeah. So,
Without that one unit, with the mini split, we're looking at 55 a year.
And just Ken, for your reference, right, just something, because I know this is the first time I've met you and first meeting that we're at together, the electric bill at West School alone's around $1,500 to $2,500 a month.
yeah,
So when you're talking about only $55,000 of income and, let's say, 25 is electric, you're saying, you know, and that doesn't even include admin overhead, and anything else.
there's no handicap accessible there either.
Yeah,
There's
I know
nothing.
that, but it's, we're talking about very, very narrow
Yeah.
things, yeah.
Right. And we're only looking at margins to the plus side, just for stability purposes, obviously not for profit and not for.
Right.
Absolutely.
Just for stability.
Well, I mean, if we get-
Contingency.
Any program, if we get to break even, right? Now, obviously, on the state side, we have to operate at the 35% or above, but on this program, even if we're at break even, we're serving the community.
Right.
We're housing people, we're not losing money, but at the same time, we're offering the service to the community. But once you go in the red, and like I said, historically, it seems like it's been in the red for a while. It's tough to
Yep.
keep saying, hey, we're gonna keep doing this.
If you could have stopped, if you could get rid of all the contracts that are, you know, had maybe the odds on it, and just sold it outright, it'd be worth a lot more money.
Correct, but that's Ken, that's what I think, once again, is I think there needs to be someone with expertise in here saying about HUD contracts and what you can and can't do when you're trying to dispose of an asset. Before you obviously, you know, even think about taking step 2 in the process.
So I'd have to be contacted first.
I'd like to just note, correction, the contract expires July 31st of 2040, not August.
I gotta change all my notes.
And, we don't, the parcel, the piece of land that, like half of the parking
Right.
at West School, we don't even own. So our property line, I printed out some,
So I was in error.
Is that the
Because
Is that the dumpster?
I thought the courts were also part of
No,
that.
it's at the dumpster.
those are
Yeah, the
from
tennis courts are the
public
towns.
records.
Yep.
So it cuts off at like half of the second row of parking spaces. It belongs to the town, I'm sure the town has no issues with anything, but just wanted to,
That might have been my
Let you
confusion,
know.
yeah, so.
No, I went down to do the split thing.
Thanks.
One of the last things I just wanna point out on today's meeting, and it's not really about West School, it's obviously about the ED search for 2026. We prepared, just an FYI for the board, fiscal year 2026 budget guidelines came out about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Maybe 4 weeks ago. And the main highlights from that is they allowed admin and maintenance salaries to go up 3% this year. Okay? The ED salary got increased to 2%, but when you actually look at it, it's like 1.7%. And they gave us 5% for our ANUEL expenditures, which is everything excluding utilities. So they did give us another increase to those expenses, which is great. Last year was 12%, it's now down to 5%. In prior years, it was never over like 7%, so last year was kind of an anomaly, so at least they were still in a positive of increasing those expenses. And I'll be working with Janie before she departs on presenting the fiscal year 26 budget to the board, right? We'll get that done. But one thing to note is we did prepare the ED salary calc, and I just want to clarify a few things because prior to, since Dedham manages Section 8, they take 60% right off top. right? They say whatever Section 8's making from the admin fees, you gotta turn over 60%, Warren Housing Authority keeps the other 40%, okay? So with that factored in on the ED salary calculation on fiscal year '26, the maximum ED salary would, at the 26 hours, so it would be part-time, 26 hours, is $70,145. Okay?
That's including the 6 units at HUD, right?
Correct, that's also
Right.
including the 6 units that was, so that was my other, right, great point, Jenny. That also includes, it might be even lower if for some reason those 6 units are no longer part of Warren Housing Authority, okay? But, that would be kind of a reasonable estimate of what, you know, Warren Housing Authority could, hire somebody in fiscal year '26 for, currently.
26 hours. at
26
70.
hours, you got it, you got it.
So you're roughly, so if you figure the 60 units here, just to this place, you're only getting $1,100 a unit. So that's a lot of work for $1,100.
Well, especially with West School.
Well, no, then you add that
Yeah,
in.
no, I know, and I think that's why, just a further point, I think that's why in the past it's been a struggle to try to find somebody
Understood.
that has the expertise and is willing to, work part-time to manage both of those programs, and I think maybe Jenny can attest to this, I don't know. But if West School wasn't there, is it, manageable at those hours, and is it somewhat attractive for someone in this area to do that? And I would say it's plausible, I wouldn't say it's the
Couldn't
worst.
make a living on it.
Right,
Well, but again, but within the hour commitment, if you can keep it,
Right.
if you get yourself structured into those
Yeah.
confines, efficient so that you're not leaving anything behind.
yep,
Correct, but that's looking for that individual.
yeah,
And-
but I wanted to make sure you guys got that piece of information as well.
No,
as
I
part of
appreciate
the
that.
warrant.
And I think one of the other aspects about taking a job here is the traveling and the location that way too. People might be interested, but they don't want to do the traveling, unfortunately.
So you're looking for someone basically that's just starting out, or someone who's semi-retired is what you're looking for?
Or Jenny, the other
Jenny.
option,
That's your
if
option.
you wanna segue into that.
Oh yeah, so if we're gonna, bring up that point, E, section E, 5E. So one of the options is hiring an ED, we discussed the salaries and all that. If we're going to do that, I understand you're looking for someone with HUD experience. If HUD is out of the equation, I truly believe for the benefit of the residents and the housing authority, that Caitlin Baker, who's our current admin assistant, would be a good option. That's just my recommendation, of course, that is up to the board. It does have to be posted and you do have to look at, what options you have, but I would, make that recommendation. The other option is a contract with the housing authority. And then I think we discussed the cost would be 125% of the ED salary.
Yeah, so how EOHLC kind of configurates what a management agreement, the maximum management agreement someone can charge, let's say Warren Housing Authority, is 125% of the ED salary maximum. So in this case that we just prepared, it would be about $88,000 they would charge you
For the year.
for the year. Okay, and just something to factor into when we're talking about the ED salary search. I always think anywhere, right around 40% would be a good benefits factor. So if, you know, if someone's making 70, you know, you add 40%, it's about, you know, $98,000 of expenditures, depending on, you know, obviously what do they, is it group insurance, single, or is it family plan where it costs more? And now that Warren Housing Authority is a part of Worcester County, it all depends on the appropriations that Warren Housing Authority has to pay for their employees to be part of the retirement. So those are just a couple of factors there.
And then I would recommend, if you do go with a management agency, another housing authority, they're not typically willing to travel out here. I would say they'd have to hire Caitlin to stay in the office, keep office hours, and have someone that the residents feel comfortable with.
That's a big thing, you
Yes,
know,
it
it's a very big thing because, you know, that's the biggest problem we have around here is no communication with anybody, you know, so you end up being very frustrated, and it's called, you know, I can see the folks who live here, you know, they're walking around going, well, what about this? And then you get all these rumors going around, and this is gonna happen, and that's gonna happen, and none of it's making everybody have a lot of angina for nothing, you know, when it comes right down to it. And I think that's something you have to really take into consideration.
I agree.
You know, in the community, you know, being ourselves, instead of being just some little satellite to, you know, my only reference is Leominster. To Leominster Housing, they already got 7 properties, so, but if they care, they take on 1 more property, it just makes their bottom line look better, and, you know, we get there, we don't get there, well, you know, we'll get it next week.
It does come with the benefit of the expertise, like, you'd be in good hands for HUD, they'd be able to move that forward for you, and everything else you're not
But HUD will lose
starting
the
from
money.
scratch,
They'll lose the
but
money anyways, so
you're,
who cares?
yeah. So
You know?
it's something, all the points you have to consider for each option, but I did, include in your package that email that I sent to you with the links on how to do either one, and the contact at the state. Of course, if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them as well, but, I wanted to provide you with all of the guidance that is available for either option, so that you can decide how you want to go, because that's your call.
Well, I was thinking about reaching back out to Ken Martin again, the guy who got you.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
I think he's very, you know, I know a little bit about him, I don't know him personally, but I've heard about him, and he seems to be very knowledgeable with the state as far as,
He
you know.
does a lot of work for the state, he's
Mhm.
hired
Right.
constantly by
You
the
know,
state.
and
Mhm.
He's a
As
good, way we should
consultant.
start with, you know, that's the way I was thinking.
Mhm. I can send you that information in an
That would
email
be
if you'd
good.
like,
Yeah.
absolutely. And then I can move on to my executive report unless you guys have,
So if I might, just so that we can kind of keep the meeting in some sort of, or at least in my head, but
Yeah.
hopefully of value. So we have, there is no anticipated vote on the discussion of West Street School.
so I don't know, I didn't know if you wanted to make a decision today, but you certainly absolutely don't
No, I
have
don't.
to.
I think
You
it's
don't
pretty-
even have to make a decision this year, I can move forward with them if you'd like, and get these units rented at these rates that are approved from 2022, which are very low. Continue to try to push for the OCAPs to be approved to get at least the 85,000 a year in the units that are rent ready. And then you can later decide to get
Yeah,
rid
the
of
other
it.
thing just to mention too is I have no knowledge on it, Jenny, I'm not sure if you do either, is if Jenny proceeds to rent some of the other units, is it harder to sell the building if you take that avenue with tenants in there?
It is.
Right, oh, yeah, I don't have any experience, right? Or is it better off where we are right now, and let's say in 2 months, you know, you guys, or by next meeting, you kind of have a decision, kind of start going step 1, step 2, in whatever process you guys so choose to. That's just something to consider too.
How much of the deficit will it cut down if you rented them?
Well, as of right now, Ken,
Yeah.
we have 1 tenant in there, I think his rent is $190, and he hasn't paid in the last 3-4 months.
Oh, so it's.
So- So,
Yeah, it's simple.
it's, so it's not even if that 1 unit's there and we're collecting $190, as you know, with the expenses coming through, it's not gonna really, do
But
much
you-
justice.
It'd
with
be
the
costing
100.
more money to run the ads.
I think you wanted to know if we did rent the other
Yes,
units?
The other units. Well, we,
4 or 5,000 a month, if we get the contract rents and the tenant rents and we
but
fill
the
all-
expenses go up.
and the
Also,
expenses.
right,
So I mean,
correct.
it's not like it's a gross
Right.
Right,
Right.
sum. I
And
mean,
it-
it is gross.
And it's also not like the
Very
state, where the state reimburse you 100% for the utilities. Right, HUD doesn't reimburse you for the
Yeah.
utilities, they just give you the contract rent and say,
There you go.
manage the budget.
So without a formal vote on that, we've taken it as discussion, so, I think we should take it under advisement, we should seek additional advisement. But with, in anticipation that we, probably before the end of the year, we have a firm grasp on the direction we wanna go with that. Whether it's retain and grab someone with some expertise, or it's to potentially let it go and to somebody who has more expertise and resources to either absorb some of those losses,
Yeah.
but also provide the units for the uses that they were put together
Intended.
for. Okay, are we okay with that? So we'll
Yes.
have that discussion?
Good,
Yeah.
table it.
Yeah.
Well, there's no tail, I just, we were just discussion. So we had that, the executive director, I think,
Is there?
are my colleagues
Yes.
Yes.
okay with the overview of what we had and what we're kind of looking at as far as ED? And some discussion, is there any discussion from your side on Winthrop Terrace? We did take a tour, I know there's issues there.
That's
We-
fine.
Okay, that's fine.
But yeah,
I just want to be sensitive to Gary.
Yeah.
Are we finished with all the financials? Do we need to hear any more from him?
Do you have any other questions, Lou?
We're trying to get you out of here. I'm kidding. Just
No,
kidding.
no, I always ask. I always wanna make sure everybody's good.
No, you wanna get to the before it rains a bit.
Unless
Okay.
you have any finance questions regarding Winthrop Terrace,
No, the only other thing on Winthrop Terrace, just expect, hopefully at the November meeting, we'll have, the budget for fiscal year '26 to present. I think it's due December 9th. So we'll have that done probably in the next couple weeks, and then we can schedule it on the November meeting. And we can check that off, our list of to-dos.
And just before you go, should we anticipate your participation at that meeting?
Oh, I will 100% do
Wonderful.
that.
Okay, I just, no, just
Absolutely.
wondering if,
Yeah.
what we'll have
Yeah.
available to us at that
Yes,
point.
absolutely.
Thanks.
Mhm.
So then we are finished with what was established as agenda item 7A then. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Thank
Jamie,
you.
let me know if you need anything, Caitlin. Have a great
thank
day.
you.
Yeah, you too, Ken, okay?
Did
Everybody
you-
have a great day.
Take care.
Did you need your paper back?
No, you want it? No, it's a copy, so.
Yeah, really.
No, that's okay.
Sure,
I got-
sure.
I think
We'll
I-
take it to the file.
Excellent. So if I might then suggest that we carry on with our agenda, starting at agenda item now, which is marked 5.
Okay.
Okay. Executive Director's Report.
thank you. So we still have a growing wait list. We have 11,766 family applicants, 3,507 elderly handicap applicants, 89,841 MRVP mobile applicants, 11,940 project-based MRVP applicants. We do not have an active wait list, although there is a unit available because we do have some reasonable accommodation requests for unit transfers to first floor units that we're working on, and an internal transfer as well. So we don't, we had one, okay, so actually, that was a project. There was a unit that was completed, that was vacant, but it didn't count as a vacancy because there was a project number assigned to it because there was construction happening in the bathroom. That unit has gone from vacant with a waiver to occupied,
Oh,
leaving the unit that that resident came from as a vacancy without a waiver. Just the standard 30-day turnaround time. So right now, we don't have any scheduled move-ins. Out of the 3 vacants, that should say 2 waivers, I apologize for that. Out of the 3 vacants, we have 2 waivers, so 1 that's actually completely vacant, so that's 98.3% occupancy. So we're still good. We should only have a 2% vacancy, so we're meeting that. 2 active waivers. Key Road, no changes, 1 out of 2 vacants. One of them has a waiver, as we saw in the tour last month, you can see why. And West School, we just had that discussion as well as to why we have a 16.67% occupancy. Do you have any questions regarding vacancy, occupancy, and wait list before I move on to our?
just one. So in the transfer from the unit that's been completed and we had a transfer, the person who's left, that vacancy now is, what's the turnaround, or what do we expect? Is it a large project to get ready for it? Okay.
No, it's on a standard 30-day.
Wonderful.
But
Okay. I know you said that, I just
waiver
didn't know if it
doesn't
was.
apply.
No, I understood, and forgive me, and I didn't mean to, do you see any surprises or anything that's gonna keep us, it's kind of a good,
Luckily, no.
yeah. Nice, okay.
it's always fun to come across something we can
All right.
turn over quickly.
Nice. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I prepared, you asked at our last meeting, some questions about 76 Winthrop Terrace. You wanted a little report, so I did provide that in your packets, and that is after the contracts that we'll be signing.
Mhm.
The heading is Project 318087 Accessible Units.
Yeah. Correct.
Shirley there?
The one, forgive me, this is project 3180,
You got it.
Okay.
Shirley and Ken, you good?
in this, in the middle part?
After those 3 pages, Shirley, you're almost there. And Ken, I think you got it.
I read slow, sorry.
Is he,
There you
Okay,
go.
this one here, okay.
The last page before that is this.
It says project number 318087
Yeah.
on the top.
accessible units?
You're almost there.
Right before the West Pool.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Here we are.
yeah.
All right, so I'm sure you probably already had a chance to go over it, but just so that the public, the residents are all aware, I'll briefly
Thank you.
read through it. So this is in regards to the little building up here. A little background on that. The Warren Housing Authority was in need of 2, or still is in need of 2 accessible housing units to be constructed as a single duplex. We're meeting the 5% threshold in the elderly housing 667 portfolio, which is Winthrop Terrace down here. However, for family housing, program 705, we have 0%, and we're not meeting that. So in 2022, $1 million in ARPA funds was awarded for the creation of those 2 family accessible units. And it was decided it would be 1 level, obviously, for accessibility in a duplex. And, well, actually, first there was, the initial plan was to do it at Keys Road. And we went there, we saw it was too sloped, and they noticed this when they came in, so you couldn't make it accessible because it's a bit of an incline. Then it was proposed to happen behind the cul-de-sac back there. That was shut down at some point. And so we were left with this beautiful building here. And that's why that's happening at 76 Winthrop Terrace for family housing. That's why we're having family housing here. The building is in poor structural condition. The shingles failed, and then an emergency roof replacement was approved by EOHLC. In the summer of 2022, the second floor tenants chose to vacate for better conditions at another facility, and then the first floor tenants also vacated. The new roof installation was completed in August 2022, so at some point they were trying to rehab this building, to restore the building, but the foundation was completely deteriorated. It would require lifting the structure and rebuilding the foundation. You're basically redoing the building, so you might as well, at that point, take it down and put a nice new one back up. So, also there was risk for plaster damage, asbestos exposure, and plumbing and electrical overhauls. It was then decided that we should demolish building 76 to construct the required 2 accessible family units. ARPA funds, the $1 million, they have a time limit that they need to be used by. So EOHLC changed it and got us a compliance reserve for 88 in the same amount of $1 million, so that we could have time to build this larger project without the rush of having to use it by a specific date, which was the situation with the ARPA funds. And additional funds have been added since then, special grants that EOHLC, this is a large project, so they're the ones doing the background work to obtain the funds for the project. So there's 3 different funding sources at this point right now, including that $1 million in the ADA award. So the project scope is to construct 2 single-level accessible units as 1 duplex. The current budget is $1.365 million, fully funded by special awards, and this award is expected to increase. They're continuing to look for additional funding. The original designer, this was part of the holdback, was incapacitated due to illness. And then the new person, who's actually the one that did the walkthrough last month, they're proceeding with hiring that person as the new construction architect person, so we're going with him, not us, EOHLC. And Andrew Brockway. And we're expecting for construction to begin in the spring of 2026. Little summary there, this project fulfills a critical need for accessible family housing, aligning with our long-term goals for ADA compliant housing options. It has experienced delays due to site feasibility and designer availability, but remains fully funded and moving forward. So that's all the information I have on that building, unless you have any questions.
No, I just for, to finish up the summary and from my understanding, so it's basically on go.
Yes,
All right.
full throttle.
Do we have a contract?
Finally.
Wait.
We put it up with bid yet?
Not yet, no. So they have to, what do you call it? The design is what was approved, but that other architect is no longer working with EOHLC on this project. The new architect now has to
Do it all
look
over.
through, decide. We can still use it because we paid for those designs. They're confirming that it is still feasible and we can move forward and construct, but that has not gone out to bid yet, so.
Is it demolition in the next contract to rebuild put the new unit?
That's
in?
definitely coming down, yes.
No, I mean, is the demolition price in the contract to rebuild,
Right.
to build new ones?
It would be one contract,
Right.
and then if they have to subcontract,
Right,
if the contractors
Right.
work, right.
but I mean, there's one guy's gonna take care of ripping it down and then building the new place.
They may subcontract.
Right.
Well, I know
Yeah,
that
right.
everybody's subcontract, but I'm saying.
But the project is,
Right.
is whole.
Right.
It's coming down, it's going up, it's
Yeah.
under one project.
Right.
So the responsibility of the board has been taken care of, basically.
We okayed it, so now you just gotta go get
Right.
the people here
Okay.
to do it.
I think, is that what you were looking
Yeah,
at?
that's what I'm wondering about, yeah.
Oh, no, so we will need to, after it goes out to bid, you will have to
But
go
that's the
in
bid
with the
package, will
contract.
be, right.
Yeah.
the
Yeah, but
choice.
that, we haven't gotten there yet.
Understood.
And now, the other thing I was saying, is because of this handicapping stuff with it going up, is that gonna be an issue, you think, where we would probably have to realize, maybe consider taking some of that out of there and bringing it down, bringing the level of the ground down?
Oh, grading.
I can,
You know what I mean? I mean, it's like, you got a long driveway to walk up, well, what good is if you got a ramp going into your house and you can't get up the driveway?
yeah,
It is high, it's probably 7 or 8 feet, maybe even a little higher than it is here, when you get all the way up there.
do you want me to see what I can find on here now for the design?
Well, I think we should just be in with the contract to build the new places, that should be part of the consideration, just do a study on whether it's gonna be, because I know it's like, with a handicap, it's 1 inch foot. So for every foot you go up, I mean, for every foot you go, you gotta go up 1 inch, so it's, whatever it has to be, it doesn't make sense to put a nice duplex up there and then you gotta drive up a hill to get there and,
They have to make sure that it meets all the ADA requirements, like that's part of,
Right.
the design, but let me see if I can get like a little picture or something. Sorry, our systems are super speedy.
Try waiting for
You're
it.
not alone.
Ken, is it something that we, if she gave it to us in an email after?
Yeah,
That we could, that would be,
If I
I mean, I don't wanna, if you want the answer now. it's fine.
I'm just
Yeah, I
asking
get it.
questions.
No, actually, it's a good one. So Jenny, if you don't mind, if you could just distribute that to us.
Yeah.
The drawings, yeah,
Yeah,
and
that'd be
and they
great.
are up, so I can send those to you.
All right.
Mhm.
So we are at,
HUD discussions, so do you have, are we satisfied with
We
what,
want
you know, about
Figure
HUD
that
for
out,
now?
we wanna get rid of them.
Executive director search, I think Mike just wanted to contribute a little
Right.
bit, so I'm sorry for moving that up.
no,
Are
that's
we all
okay.
set
No,
with
that's
that, or? Ballot results, so we had the residents vote, on things that they expressed concern about. in the
Forgive me,
survey. Certainly.
Jenny, just, if I'm not mistaken, do we go through the modernization report? And
Oh, no,
you were
this is
look-
still the state aided housing. Oh, because,
I
right,
didn't
that's
know if
at,
The
true.
organization's on the second page.
Oh, 'cause you. one after another.
Yeah. Did you wanna go through that now?
Policies. Nope, you're right. I included it in my executive director report and then as a separate item, so
Oh, okay, all right, all right,
I'll keep that over there.
all right.
So. And so the only other thing I'll discuss on my executive director report before moving on to modernization, because I didn't put it in here separately,
Okay.
is the PHN, which is the 2025-11 public housing notice. That's the most recent one that came out. Mike discussed a little bit of what the changes were going to be. That's the annual budget increases for 2026. So those were the highlights. I think he said a 6% annual.
I think you said 5, right?
5.
After last year was 12, which is, modestly good news.
Yeah, correct. So we'll be working on that and have the budget and present it to you at the November meeting. But we will be working on that. Surprisingly, 2025 was finally just approved by EOHLC, so. Hopefully we get 2026 done in 2026.
That would be nice. Thank
In
you.
2025, sorry, not
Right,
2026. So any questions on the executive director report before I move on to modernization?
I'm all set, thank you.
Alright. So project number 318089, which is the replace stairwell VCT. We approved this contractor at our secondary meeting last month. The bid came in at $22,494, which was lower than our estimate. So we have a pre-construction meeting, happening, I think, next week. Let me double check. So we're moving forward with them, the contracts have been signed. Next Tuesday, we're doing our meeting with them, for construction. 318062, that's the parking and driveway, so that's still waiting on construction documents, that's one of those really big EOHLC projects. 318087 is Building 76, the accessible units. The new architect visited the site in August. The building does have to be taken down. The original plan so far remains, and the architect is working on obtaining fee proposals to move forward. 318090, the vacancy appropriation unit turnaround, that's our project in-house.
Yes.
That was completed August 28th. The permits were approved on September 10th. I do have some final construction documents that are part of my modernization report, so I can give them to you now. That I
Yeah.
need your signatures on. I don't know if I gave you copies, but I brought the originals for you to sign. Did you get a chance to look through those, or I can briefly go through what they are? For 318090. So there's a change order
Mhm.
that I'll be requesting
Vote?
a vote for. The change was not in pricing, it was for an additional 15 days that it took to complete the project. So it was a time extension of 15 days because permits had to be pulled and they were waiting on parts, so that's.
But the project is completed.
Project is now completed,
Right.
but
And if
now
we
we have
vote
to.
no on it,
What happened? You gonna pay the money?
wait, you turn the calendar back?
I'm gonna go back in
Wanna
there
go
with a
back in?
hammer and
No,
take
no.
her.
That being said, are you ready? We can take, I'm prepared to take,
Yeah,
or
we
ask
can.
for a vote
Yeah.
if that's okay, and we get that off your,
Yeah, if you wanna ask for
That's
a
fine.
vote.
all in favor? Well,
Second.
I put the,
Aye.
thank you, excellent. None opposed. So it's
Thank you.
affirmed, yeah.
So that's for the change order for the additional
Yes.
15 days. Then there's a certificate of substantial completion, showing the project was completed September 4th, 2025, and I'd be looking for, I'm making motion to approve the certificate of substantial completion. Oh, by the way, just to show you that everything went well, I did bring the approved
Okay.
permits,
Okay,
so,
that's good.
just so you know.
Do you have it
You
in
can
other
vote
colors?
yes.
Is there other colors? No, that's fine.
Well, in
Mo-
this
mo-
phone, you know.
That's true. Motion to approve the substantial, second, all in favor? Aye.
And then the certificate of final completion for the same project, September 4th, end date after a 15-day delay at the original pricing.
Okay. Motion to approve,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Okay, so then I think we're at,
318091.
mhm.
Fire alarm upgrade, that actually has gone out to bid. We received 4 bids, the lowest bidder, came in a little bit lower, so the estimated cost was $577,000. The lowest bidder came in at $468,000. I didn't put it on this report because I didn't get everything I needed until the day after I posted our agenda.
Okay.
So I'm going to bug you again and ask you if we can have another special meeting to approve this vendor, and before I do that. These are the 4 bidders that bid on that project. And before we move forward, I need a board vote. That's not on the agenda for today, so we can't do it
Right.
today. I'm hoping you can schedule something for sometime soon where we can take a vote on the lowest bidder was vetted. There's a recommendation letter in there as well in that little packet. But I didn't receive that information until after I posted this agenda. So I-
Understood. Is there a, just out of discussion for consideration of the setup of the special meeting, is there a time frame when he's looking, or they're looking to be available, that they would like to kind of start, that
The sooner the better.
is just that, well,
And all I need is 2 days because we have to provide public meeting
understood.
notice
I have a question. Is this mandatory?
to
Upgrade
approve.
the fire alarms?
Well, that's a project that was already voted in by, I guess, the previous
Previous, yeah.
board.
So it's,
So it's already way underway. Money has been spent on this.
Can't hurt, I guess, right?
No.
except that they go off every night at midnight.
Yeah. They will.
If it were a bad thing,
The new ones will.
our maintenance team would have stopped it because they're the firemen here.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
So
That's right.
they wouldn't have allowed that to go through
Yep.
if they knew it was gonna be a problem.
Wonderful. Okay, we don't have to set the date right now, but just out of consideration, so it's at least in our hearing realm of, because I'm fine next week if there's a day, and then we might want to reach out to Laura too,
Yeah.
just to see
Yeah.
when she's available. Just so sooner the
You
better.
want me to do agenda?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
and forgive me for asking, is Wednesday good or not good?
Wednesday mornings are not.
Okay, so Wednesday morning.
Occasionally, I
Yeah.
like a Wednesday afternoon so I can go play bingo.
No, no, no.
Wednesday afternoons are.
Wednesday afternoon's good?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe next Wednesday.
Maybe.
Just for consideration, it's just a no,
Yeah, no,
there's no
just
official
Wednesday
here
mornings.
yet, but, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's and that's for the fire, well, that would be one of the agenda items, is this fire alarm
Yeah.
bit.
That's one of the, in the
Yeah.
modernization report,
Yeah.
and then, so I'll send an email so we can approve, an agenda for that one item to approve that vendor. The next, project is 318092, which is the,
Mm.
vacant unit at 540 Keys Road. Now that you've seen it, you understand. The new designer needs to submit a fee assessment for the investigation and documentation of the existing conditions. 318095 is replace siding. 100% construction documents were submitted August 22nd.
Mm.
Waiting approval. They were actually here yesterday. Was it yes? No, they're coming tomorrow, to do testing on the siding, so it's moving forward.
Thank you.
318096 is, unit 44B turnover, so that's already out to bid on projectdog.com. It's estimated to cost $60,000. We actually had a pre-bid walkthrough yesterday morning. And all bids are due October 10th at 1 PM, and we did put that ad in the paper, so you'll see an invoice for that somewhere. It was required for that
Yeah.
price range to be put on the paper. And that's the end of my modernization report.
Right. And then we've, 5C, 5D, and 5E have all been discussed, so 5F on the ballot results of each, which I'm so completely interested in.
Done this
Yeah,
Thank you.
doesn't mean I know what I'm talking about, just the order of the meeting.
So we had, the residents voted on 6 different items that we put on the ballot. The 6 items came from a survey that was sent out to all of the Winthrop Terrace residents requesting what changes they would like to see on the property. A lot of these changes do not require any form of policy change, et cetera, so those will be handled internally as residents, things to do with activities, that sort of thing. The things that were put on the ballot are things that we had very opposing views up to like looked like a 50-50% split. And we counted the ballots at the August 28th meeting. And I'd like to read the results for everyone. The first question was to look into the possibility of changing from smoke-free property to smoke-free buildings, allowing residents to smoke outside of their buildings and in the parking lot, but not in the buildings, not inside the units in the buildings. We received 22 yes votes and 18 no votes, so most of the residents voted to look into, again, this was phrased in this way, because we can't change, there's a policy. So I did some research. There was talk about whether we're required to be smoke-free or not. After a lot of research, I did find out HUD did pass that for federally funded public housing properties. State aided housing does not fall under that category. However, there was a guidance put out in 2014 for housing authorities to try to adopt the smoke-free policy. And the Warren Housing Authority did adopt a smoke-free policy for the entire property, meaning within property lines. So no smoking, not just in your units, no smoking in the hallways, no smoking in the community rooms, no smoking in the parking lots, not even in your cars. So you literally have to walk off property lines to smoke. So that was adopted. Was it required? No, but it was adopted. It was a guidance set out by EOHLC, so I wanted to clarify that. Can that be changed? There is a process. I'm going to advise against it, but it's up to the board. I think my recommendation is to set a place within the property, or maybe two because the property is pretty large, with seating,
A roof,
some type of cover
so you won't be getting snowed on.
where residents can go and smoke and they don't have to walk completely off the property. All of the 99.9% of the residents at Winthrop Terrace are elderly. And
That's a compliment.
it is. A lot of people don't make it there, so congratulations. Congratulations. It's very detrimental in closed spaces. And even if you decided in the future you wanted to get rid of the smoke-free policy, you still would not be able to approve in-unit smoking anyway, so.
Right.
It's not good for the health of our residents here, so that's my personal recommendation.
But if we look into the policy, you probably want us to look at it in like April of next year.
We can look at it now, I mean.
Being the tenant's representative, they won't look at it now.
No,
Because I get it all the time.
I mean, I'm not even opposed to, but with, there's gotta be some consideration.
Right.
I mean, obviously.
Because on the other hand, you say smoking is bad, but,
Well,
most of these.
It's not bad, I smoke, I mean, it's bad,
Right.
but I don't want my choices
Right.
to have a
Oh, I
consequence on somebody else.
But my
This
bus-
is my decision for my body, I can't impose that on somebody else.
My main concern is people getting hurt walking to that place to go smoke. That's my biggest concern, because you did say they're all elderly.
No.
And everybody is elderly, when you're out in the snow walking around here.
So I'm thinking like 2 locations with seating, something to cut, a cute little, I've seen like little gazebos
Yeah.
at certain properties, and that they're the hangout spot,
Right.
I know because I'm a smoker, I hang out there.
If you go up to Air, they have their own tent.
So if I might, and then please, no disrespect to anybody, because I think all these, when we get through the ballot, we'll see that, geez, there's probably something worthy of our consideration, that being the board, on a future agenda. But if we can go through the ballot,
Yeah.
and then,
Yes, sir.
and I don't mean to, unless there wants to have serious conversation about any one item, but I'd like, if we can get through the ballot and then get through, and then we can go. for some-
Thank you.
Yeah.
So number 2 was to assign a parking spot to each apartment, and then the remaining spots would be designated to the visitors. That was very close, 19 people said yes, 20 people said no. So we will not be assigning a space to each unit. So you won't have this parking space is only for this particular unit, so that's not happening, and that was very, very close. Number 3 was designated and labeled spots for tenants and visitors throughout the property with no apartment numbers assigned. So basically exactly what we have now. 21 people voted yes, 17 people voted no. So yes, we're going to continue doing it the way we have been. We're discussing the paint to make the signs clear visitor and tenant, because they've washed off. We need better weather, so, but we're working on it. Number 4, work with Comcast to try to acquire a new bulk cable program. One that will have more flexibility in who participates, and that nobody will be required to pay for services that they don't use. Unanimously, 36 votes yes. Caitlin has been working on that.
It's
Very quick updates.
the only viable option where it would not be a traditional bulk cable package. The only way to do this where you have buy-in and buy-out per unit would require internet capabilities run through every single apartment, hookups in every single apartment, and then people would get a code with Comcast, like from us with Comcast. It's called Comcast Communities. It exists. It does get a slight discount. It is not the same as a bulk cable package. Bulk cable packaging, the $20 that we're used to before, is only available if you pay for every single unit. So the only other option is Comcast Communities, which would require a lot of infrastructure changes for us, and then everyone would
would
pay
cost a lot
individually.
more.
It would cost a lot of money.
Yeah. And again, it goes back to,
And would run off
you
internet
don't want to
versus
impose some.
regular cable, which means everyone who would use it would have to be comfortable setting it up themselves online.
We'll continue to
Mhm.
research. Thank you.
Well, and that might be, not to elongate the conversation, but that might be something that, for a future meeting, either here with our board or with the residents, so to have a representative from Comcast in to kind of explain.
That's a good idea.
Oh,
Maybe,
Great idea.
and maybe they'll be like, you know what, no, all right, we'll just, well. If Paulette's here, maybe we can get them to acquiesce.
If I can get anyone from
Anyway,
Comcast to
thank
come
you.
here, that would be a
Thank you,
miracle.
thank you. All right.
Yes,
number
it would be
5.
amazing.
Set specific hours in the day for aides to use the laundry room. 30 people said no, 7 said yes. So there's no set time for anyone. You can use it whenever. Number 6, create a laundry room policy allowing one person to use only 2 washers at a time. 24 people said yes, 14 said no. So the only policy change I will be asking the board to approve today is for the laundry policy, as the parking is going to stay the same. And there's no changes to the smoking policy as of today, although that may change in the future.
I would make a motion to accept the change in laundry room policy.
Yes.
Second. For discussion, I would just like to kind of interject that in that day when we took the tour, you were good enough to kind of give us kind of a lay of this particular building and what it offers and doesn't offer. And there may be some room, and I say this for the residents, there may be some room for greater accommodations for laundry services with some strategic placement of machines and or a new vendor or something like that. It's not that it's here, it's just that I think we're committed to looking at those options too. So hopefully it becomes easier. It wouldn't have made the reason I bring it up is it wouldn't have made the ballot if it wasn't a source of some consternation. And just outside of mandating something under current conditions, which has to happen so that we all understand, but we're also looking at maybe enhancing the availability of going forwards.
So I see a little concern, so if I may through the board,
Sure.
we're discussing, if anything, just take up that little room right there. Like, not the
Oh.
entire, not
Put
make
more
this
washers in.
entire,
I thought it was washboards and buckets.
outside,
Clotheslines.
outside.
And I hang outside.
Thank you.
Um,
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
None opposed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda items 8 and 9, I would like to make a motion that we postpone till next meeting. Is there a second?
Second?
Thanks, any discussion? Thanks. All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. we're okay with it, we can schedule next week's meeting here today, if you'd like us to.
Yes, please.
Okay, so Wednesday, 1 o'clock. This is under agenda item 10. So we'll make that our next meeting, and then we can make our, our next meeting after that. So we meet the requirements of meeting once a month. This is a special meeting, but we'll make the other. Actually, we could probably do both of them if you wish. All right, so set a special meeting for next week, Wednesday, forgive me,
October
10-1.
1st.
October 1st, 1 o'clock, here in this room.
Here's my question.
Sure, certainly.
Could we make it 1:30?
1:30, thank you.
That would give me enough time to get here.
Perfect.
Okay,
Yeah,
if you don't mind.
no,
No, all right.
it's easier
You
without,
can start
it's
without me.
easier without you, but.
I know, you can
no,
start without me.
no, I'm kidding. No, 1:30. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. And then, if you wanna put 10A, set a date for the next annual meeting. Forgive me, the next monthly meeting scheduled for, October.
So, yeah, don't get it.
That won't fulfill our October obligation. This is just a special meeting with a reduced agenda for October 1st.
Oh, okay.
Correct?
Just-
Or did you want to combine the two?
Oh, we can do a separate, so, because we have the annual plan already penciled in for
Right.
October 23rd at 1 PM,
All right,
which unfortunately lands on a Thursday, but
That's fine.
this was before this all started. This was set up a long time ago.
forgive me, I can't remember what I did. Did we vote on that? Is that, who we?
We did not
We
vote
haven't
on the
set that.
date, no.
Okay,
That was just the soonest available with the required amount of time frame that it had to be posted, and then before the October 31st deadline when it's due.
okay. Then we will use that date as our monthly meeting.
Which we don't, if you wanna do 2 meetings, because that's gonna, might be a long one, I don't know. It's your meet, I just show up,
Yeah.
you tell me.
So
If you wanna do it, if you wanna think about it, if you think it's best to do 2
No, I think we-
separate ones.
I mean, I'd like to do it all in one. And
Okay.
it's the end
Okay
of,
with me.
and it's the end of October, so we should do it in costume.
Yeah,
If it's all right, I mean, obviously we'll keep our regular business agenda items to a minimum so that we can. Then, okay, so if you want, I guess I need to make a motion for a, do you wanna verbalize it for me, Jenny? This particular meeting, just because budget, October, I even forgot the date, October.
For October 23rd?
yeah.
No, we're doing for October 1st, for next week, right?
Yeah, that one we already accepted.
Right.
Oh, so we don't have
This is
to vote, we can do that.
We could vote at the next meeting, October 1st, for the October 23rd, if you want to.
Oh, I'm sorry, I just was not aware that we had to vote for dates, for meeting dates. I just thought we discussed, but I'm happy to do that. So I'm requesting a motion to have our next full board meeting on October 23rd at 1:30 PM, at 1 PM.
Okay. I make the motion,
I second.
all in favor?
Okay,
Aye.
so I wanna understand, we're having 2 meetings, one on the 1st and one on the
23rd.
23rd, okay.
Did you want to oppose it?
No,
Come on, Shirley. You're always so agreeable. No, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
until something comes up and I can't be.
And then just general discussion, that's item number 11, any comments?
I have a request more than could we bring back the square tables? We can, like, have a regular table with meetings and people on it,
So you didn't hear this from me,
yeah.
but I think the guys are looking at something.
Okay.
We don't have the money, but they
What about the ones we
might
used to have?
give us one. Oh, they got rid of that. I don't know where
They
that
throw them
went.
away? I thought they put them in the cellar.
We don't have them on the property
Oh,
at all. We don't
they're
know where
gone,
that
huh?
is.
I know, we wanna get back the rectangular dining room table. for
That's the
sure.
one I thought he was
For
We
asking.
got
sure.
one, we got a brand new one.
I know, that was the only one I knew that was gonna be changed back to the
Yeah.
way it was. These, I believe, are gonna stay the same,
This-
probably because of the cost too, maybe.
I think so.
Oh, okay, we already have.
Somebody there,
So they brought in
I'm
Monday.
late to the.
she's already gone.
Monday, I think, not yesterday, Monday?
So that's courtesy of
Tuesday.
Oh, great.
Dave and Drew.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Is that for the board? Do you mind if we, is there anything from the
Yeah, you guys.
from residents that have
Anybody
questions of
got
us or comments or
No,
change the weather?
nothing.
Wonderful. If that being the case, then I would make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
I
We have
second.
to do the warrants, guys.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna do
Oh,
that.
We're gonna pay the bills.
Where is the warrant? Oh, jeez. I must have taken my glasses off, forgive me.
There's two, sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
There are two.
So before you adjourn the meeting, can you vote?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, before you
We didn't,
adjourn.
we didn't take the vote. They called me stupid first. And
That doesn't work.
Yeah.
You use this one. I always bring two.
Oh. I have a red one, but I don't want a signature.
Is there a sign-up sheet?
No.
That was only for the LTO meetings, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Okay.
Are you guys voting
Oh,
to accept
Reggie.
the warrants?
So the other ones are gone, so if some movement showed up, you guys wouldn't be opposed to using them.
Tables?
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm just gonna use the.
I have to vote for the chaos very fast.
Thank you for sticking through.
The warrants have been voted on, we have to adjourn, but everyone's gone.
This is the first time everyone leaves right after the meeting. Oh, wait, the meeting's not over. We're still.
Yeah, the meeting's not over, we're still on camera. So I'm like, oh wait, hold on. These, I don't think these have been voted on, and it hasn't been adjourned, so everyone has taken off. We can start tapping microphones and do some ASMR.
So since Shirley's gonna sign warrants.
Yep.
I'm gonna ask you, Ken, if you can sign the contracts, the change order, the certificate of substantial approval, and the certificate of final approval, of, final completion. So that's gonna
I've
be
done a
the
bunch of them,
change
yes. I think
order.
our meeting is still
Your
in,
signature here, certified by,
the camera might still be recording, so I definitely don't want you.
I know, that's what I'm saying, because it's not adjourned yet.
certified. Thank you so much. So the contracts are signed, warrants,
Yep. I'm just gonna send the check.
the checks, okay.
You need, I'm doing it now.
We're still in the meeting
Yep.
until, so you have time to do them.
Do I have to do it now or, no? Wait.
No, you don't have to.
Should I wait?
We just need you guys to actually vote on the warrants and
Yeah.
then also vote to adjourn.
Oh, okay.
Because that hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
No, motion to accept the warrants as presented.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And then motion to adjourn.
Second.
And
Aye.
aye, no one opposed. Excellent, we're
Thank you so much.
now.